Hello, my name is Ryan. Today is September 15th, 2017, approximately 11:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. This is a video to record where I left off on the Diesel Pros Bozeman project, as either A, I'm going to have to continue at a later date, or B, going to have to pass this on to someone else. So I want to cover two specific sheets that I have created that will be uh, in the Google Drive folder that you'll be able to continue to use. So this first sheet is the exclusion diesel cat map dated 11/15. And this sheet is simply an exercise that I already went through with the client to exclude vehicle applications and part type exclusions. So that's what these two orange tabs are, is that exercise that I had the client go through to identify what part types to exclude and what vehicle applications to exclude. I had already processed all of that, and I created two tabs. I created one that has all those products that need to be excluded. They are in here, and I've already ran an import to put those into a deprecated category. So if you were to actually go to the site, which I'll do in a moment, here is that category called hidden products, and in here you're going to find a replication of the DCI category tree, because this is where I put all these products in here, and all those products are set to hidden. So again, as a recap of what I just said, everything in this sheet here called hidden are on the website, but they are marked as hidden and thrown into a hidden category tree. All these items that are included, these are still existing in the category tree for shop by category. So all of those are in this category tree, and once you get into that, you'll see it's a DCI category tree. All those products are in there and visible for a total of about 22,324 products. About right for a diesel website. And you'll find that there's a combination of both universal and non-universal products are in here. So you get a good idea. So I don't expect you to have to do anything more with these two sheets except to use them as a reference point. Then what I've got is I've got another decoder ring here, all the DCI part types that are in the Diesel Pros Bozeman data set and what their ACA or ACES part type equivalent is. That helps you when it comes to working on these next two. These next two tabs I pulled from Philips Diesel tool with just a couple modifications. But that part type mapping tool will help you map parts, and you can see I've already done a mapping here of the DCI part type and what its equivalent, its ACES part type is. Anything that didn't match means, hey, I just don't have anything in column B that actually matches anything in column C. Now we've got the diesel fitment mapping sheet. It's going to be assumed that the person that's going to be working on this already has a working knowledge of this. I did attempt to start to work on some mapping techniques in which I just made some new columns that actually had all these vehicle combinations combined: YMM, YMM leader, YMM leader valve, and YMM leader engine code. And you'll see, if you looked at this, you'll get an idea as to why I've done it that way. So that when we actually have to do VLOOKUPs in some other data sets, it'll help us do that. If we're looking for the whole combination, not having to do a bunch of index matching or complex VLOOKUPs on multiple columns of data. Just to help a shortcut to help us with some VLOOKUPs or index matches. So that's what this sheet is in terms of using for reference. The biggest thing is this diesel fitment mapping sheet and the part type mapping sheet, and how it's going to be utilized to map products to that. Which, one small detail in this sheet here, if you look all the way to the right, I have got a combined part number, and I've also got the ACES part type here. So all products now have an ACES part type, which is going to help you map those products to a part type mapping sheet. All right, the next thing that I've done, and I've worked a lot of hours on trying to figure out how to do this best. This process here is, I've got combined, a file for combined diesel apps. And this is coming from an ACES file. And this ACES file, there's 4 of them because I've got so many brands and these ACES files are huge. I'm limited to a little over 1 million rows in Excel, so I've got to break these down. This particular one, after I've filtered everything out, because it's the smallest of the 4, it's 41,000 rows. Each row is a vehicle application. You'll see that you got part numbers with multiple applications on it. And this sheet is really what we're trying to use to map individual applications and part numbers to a diesel vehicle category tree. And I've attempted to do this by, I was going to do a VLOOKUP based on this information if I could get it done reliably, and where I've hit a blocker is creating one on the year, make, model, liter valve and the year, make, model, liter, actually no liter, engine code. And I could easily do a concatenation of that if I had that data, but I don't have that data here. So any column here that you see that's colored means these are columns that I've added to the ACES file. And really what I'm trying to do is really get this combined category tree here in column Y. But I'm unable to really do that reliably because of a couple things right now, and that is I don't have valve and engine code to get all those nuances, and we don't have information in the fuel type all the time. Sometimes it's there, sometimes it's not. In this case, for this particular file, 41,000 applications, not a single one in here says diesel. Not totally unexpected here because we're looking at these kind of part types, none of which really are diesel specific. So this, by the way, this file is already concocted or created from another file, and I'm going to go over that here now. So what I've done is created this file from other combined files, and I'll have these combined files in Google Drive. So let me show you what I've done here. So I'm going to open up one and combine 4, there it is. Let me open that file. Okay, so here's one of these files. This is the combined 4 file, and I'm doing a few things to it. One of the things I have to do is I have to identify those makes that we only want. So I'm going to go into data. By the way, what I'm trying to do here is I'm trying to reduce this file size from 831,000 rows down to something more manageable, in the case 41,000 rows. That will help us manipulate this file and keep things focused. So for the diesel category tree, we only have specific makes, and those makes are going to be Chevy, Dodge, Ford, GMC, and Ram. So what you'll see here is now I've got all these other ones I don't need, and I'm going to delete all of those out. Let me delete all those out. It's going to take a little while. Okay, that is done. So I've got all those deleted. So now all I have is Chevy, Dodge, Ford, GMC, and Ram. Now what I want to do is I want to just get a match of what products we actually want to worry about here, which ones we actually want to map. So I'm going to do combined part number, and we're going to put the 2 part numbers together so we can easily brand code. So we can easily then, hold on, I can't talk and type at the same time. So we can easily use our other sheet to reference what products to be concerned about and map, and which ones we can get rid of. So there is the part number. So now I have a combined part number. Let's make sure I have that right. That is the brand code and that is the part number, yes. All right. So we can get that all the way down. Looks pretty good. Copy that. There we go. Now what I want to do is I want to do another column here. And I want to say include apps, whatever you want to call it. This is only temporary. And then I want to go index. I want to go back to our sheet here. It's this one. And I want to index this column. Yep, I want to index that column. And what do I want to match on? I want to match on the combined part number we just did with the combined part number on this sheet. I'm a big fan of using index match. To me, it's just easier than doing VLOOKUP. And I'm going to let that cook for a moment, so I'll pause the video. All right, that's done cooking in the oven. So let's copy that. And I like to just paste values, makes it easier to manipulate. Okay. Now let's turn on our filters and let's just sort by A to Z. It'll make it easier for me to delete out. We're going to delete out anything that came up with an NA. Anything that came up with an NA means that it didn't match with a part number in our sheet, so we know that those are not going to be included. So we can get rid of those. So let's show all the NAs. All right, and let's delete all of these. All right, so now we're down to 90,000. We got down to 41,000 by actually doing a little more refinement. I could do this as well, which we really just want to get specific models. So let me set up a way of doing that. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to take a list of models. So what I've done is I've gone back to this sheet here. And I've gone to the data fitment mapping sheet and I've just grabbed the whole column of models and added that into our sheet here and deduped so that I've only got single values. Now what I'm going to do is we're going to do another little exercise here, and we're just going to say let's go include, I don't know, vehicles if I want to. Name it what you will. It's going to be index. And I'm going to index all this. F4 match. And we're going to match that with that same column. And 0. All right. And we'll carry that all the way down. And what we should have then is we should have some matches. And I don't. Hold on. Okay, made a modification. I just made another column match. Yes. And now I'll be able to get to see all the yeses. So let's, again, I like to get rid of the formulas. Makes it a little bit easier to sort. I'm going to sort, make it easier for me to then delete. And let's get all the NAs in there. And we can delete all those. So now I've got a total of 31,494. That is a method that I've used to pin these down to get that, what we started with 830,000 applications, to get that down to something that we can actually manage. So again, I've got the combined part numbers. For the model name, we need to make sure that we replace all the NAs. We don't need them. Those were there. And we can do some other things to make our file a little bit less. We don't need any of this information. We don't have any of this stuff. Let's see, I got nothing in engine description, nothing in engine. Engine vid's got something. You can decide what you want to keep. Maybe we just take everything from here. Whatever we want to do to just make it a little more manageable for us. We can do that. But what we want to really keep is definitely need to keep part type. And we need to keep the part number if you want, although we do have that captured. And don't need the manufacturer label. So this is how I'm getting, taking each of those files. This is combined number 4, all the ACES files. I could potentially do this with each of the 4 ACES files and get them all into one, and then start manipulating after that. But right now what I've got is, I've got a pretty good sheet here that's narrowed down to Chevy, Dodge, Ford, GMC, and Ram. And I've got names that are relative to the sheet that we've put together, and feel like we've got a data set that's a lot more manageable using this technique to get things narrowed down. So from here, got to figure out how to best map these products to DCI, the diesel engine category tree, and hopefully this is going to be helpful for either myself or somebody else who's going to pick up this task. Thank you.